Hello everyone, this is Real, right back at you again, Real Lion. This is a video addressing the Advice Show Phil. And I'd like everybody to take a chance. If you haven't supported his channel, know his channel, this brother is one of the biggest YouTubers and the biggest voice, one of the loudest voice, pounding the pavement for us as a people, regardless of what you name or label yourself as. He was doing a video and the cover of Andrew Johnson, the young man from New Jersey. He had to deal with the race soldier. All of them was in on it. And what Phil have said to me, but see, this is another thing I want to say. While we're so busy attacking one another, coming at one another, Michael Anderson's, right-wingers, all the other supremacist base, are coming to destroy and taint us. But because we have way too much self-hate and it's way easier for us to attack one another, white supremacists go home uninvaded with no scars and continue to do more carnage and more damage to us as a people. And that's all Phil is saying. All of us on these platforms need to call it a truce. All of these guys, big, little, and small, need to bond together and work together. Because see, here's the deal. They can't stop all of us, but if we're all saying the same thing, something's going to give. You know? And you stop supporting these sponsors. Stop supporting these people. And all Phil is saying is, this young man is obviously, he don't have a father or a strong enough role model in his life. But because we galvanize only among ourselves just to chirp and talk about white supremacy and the white man this and the white man that, all of that's valid. But at the end of the day, we end up just as confused as we was on all these panels and 9 hours. I mean, it was just nonsense. And all Phil is trying to say is, where is the so-called black voice? Where is our champions? You know? We run each other off. When it comes down to us dealing with one another, real issues, no one wants to step up. But we're quick to do a video to bash this brother. Talking about his wife is white, then it was Lisa Cabrera, then it's all these other stuff. It's time for us to put the nonsense down. Number one, his wife is not white. Those who've seen him in New York, his wife is far from white. His wife is Hispanic. And if you know who you are, we wouldn't be having these conversations. Because Hispanic is not a race, just like black is not a race. Or Latino is not a race. Or African American is not a race. Or even Aboriginal is not a race. Because those are different layers of what we call ourselves because of self-hate and lack of knowledge of true self. And all he's saying is, it's going to be many Andrew Johnsons in the world, but we can at least galvanize among ourselves, deal with real issues. And like you said, a lot of us are mature with children, families, responsibility, and it's we as adults and older people and people that's 30 and up, 40 and up, 50 and up, don't fix it among us. How you expect these kids to get it together? These kids are lost because we're lost and we're not teaching them nothing. All Phil is bringing light is what we all should be doing anyway. But no, we love to talk about this and that, chase your tail rhetoric that's not going to do anything and defeated mindset. That young man was defeated in that whole video. That young man felt it completely disgraced. Now, we all know what we could do, and we know we are good. We good for telling people what we should and shouldn't do. But the fact of the matter is, that young man didn't have no help. So he didn't have no one encouraging him or telling him, look, man, forget this. But, he had one of his teammates, the white guy, was trying to cheer him up. But the white girl, before the video, I didn't have it on there because I didn't want to address that. Because, you know how YouTube like to take videos down. Anyway, the white girl sprung up in action. You could have thought she was a fighter or something. She couldn't wait to mess that boy head up. And the way she cut his head, she had very little respect for him or nothing. And they was all sitting there cheering. Then his teammates were just sitting there looking, and the black kids were just sitting there. They didn't know what to say. Same thing with the Hispanic kids and the Samoan kids. But his white kids were clapping on, talking about good thing, this and that. He was devastated and humiliated. But because we don't have a voice, economic power structure, because why? We give it to them. When you celebrate Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, 4th of July, New Year's, you empower white supremacy. Number one, if you really know the origin of all of these things is detrimental to us. But because we want to fit in and we talk all this so-called black pride and all this other Hispanic pride, but we do all of this pagan stuff that got nothing to do with us. And that's why they do and say what they say about us, because of self-hate and lack of knowledge of true self. When you know who you are, can't nobody tell you different. That's what we need to understand. That's what's going on. When you know who you are, man, I don't care who you are. No one convinced you otherwise. You say, you know what, brother? I'm not doing Christmas because that's pagan anyway. That's not even the Bible. And the origin of it is homosexuality, bestiality, all these other gorging yourselves and all this other nonsense. And then the Dutch and the Russian hung slaves. And that was one of the reasons why Harriet Tubman did the Underground Railroad, because they made a tradition of hanging famous, prominent black men and sometimes black women as a trophy. And then they hung Christ, but then the pagans thing started getting, because they was fascinated with hanging people, because that was a sign of breaking your will, along with buck breaking and watching your child and your mother or father or someone you love get sodomized or raped or disrespected or get maimed. Those are the things. So when you're doing these things, you're supporting white supremacy, even birthdays. All of it is pagan at its own. It got nothing to do with the Bible, got nothing to do with nothing. But if you honestly read the Bible, you will know it. But because people are so turned off, because why? Self-hate, lack of knowledge, true self, don't care about keeping the law, statute, commandment, don't care about God, but then you be the first one screaming, oh, thank you, Jesus. That ain't his real name. But still, we talk all of this stuff, but we come down to putting in work like that Michael Anderson guy. He was popping off real big, because those are the type of guys that dealing with Andrew Johnson that he have to deal with. Those men with those mentality that can passively deal with you and your child that's on your school board, that's dealing with you in the hospitals, your day-to-day. These people passively, aggressively attack us. And there's nothing much we do, because they can do it in a very subtle way where it affect us. And we all know we're going to have people like Tommy Sotomayor. He did a one on that. You know he had to do it the Coon way. You knew he had to do the boot-licking, boot-savoring, sauce style. You know he had to. He go with the bed with Master's boot in his mouth, savoring the taste and the flavor of sauteing his boot. And he don't care if me and you call him. Because you know why? Because coons know that we don't have the real power. Coons know the white man have the power. That's why they don't care. The Charles Barkley, the Stephen A. Smith, the Jason Woodlocks. That's why you have all of them doing that. You know what I mean? The Silk and Diamond, the Candace Owens, and a list of a lot of them. Because they know black people don't have no real power, because why? We're not united. We're divided. One thing about white supremacy, they just as divided, divisive as we are. But the thing is, they're one Confederate, like the Bible says in Psalms 83. When it comes to making sure we not the people of God no more and destroying us, they're Confederate. And because of self-hate, guess what? And it don't matter if it's even Fields or Mines or Tariq Rashid. We could talk about being woke. We could talk about being on code, on point, moving to Africa. All of those things to do. Everybody should do exactly what they feel they need to do. But let's talk about the root of it. Unless we love one another and support one another like Phil Levi's show and many other platforms, a study spewing nonsense and hate and grudging and hating on one another and building bridges, not tearing bridges. We're going to continue to do that like Keith Newsom. He gave that white supremacist guy a platform to spew his hate, and the next day he talked about him like how he ran all over him. But when we was on his platform trying to have a spirited debate or dialogue, he didn't give us a chance. And some of his moderators wanted to give me a chance. He cut me off. He didn't want nothing to do with nobody. But he the first one talking about black fire. That's black trash, man. Because he the first one talking about Merry Christmas. So you guys y'all full of it, man. Talking about Happy Thanksgiving. Don't know nothing, then talk about I'm going to let my kid find out when they get older. They just going to be just as destroyed as you are. Because you still saying Merry Christmas and Happy Thanksgiving. And it's not even in the Bible. We find out the origin of all of it is about homosexuality or enslavement or slave buy or Black Friday. They people don't care if we sleeping or we woke, man. They don't care if we on code or on point. They don't care. But what they care is who you give your love to and your money. And that's what Phil from the Vice show was saying. And I hear you loud and clear, brother. Because like he was saying, that's stopping knuckleheadness. There's way too much knucklehead stuff going on. There's way too much of us sitting around prancing around, man, look at his channel. You don't even know what this man have to deal with. People don't know the half of all of these YouTubers with big names and stuff. You don't know half of people trying to buy them out, sell them out, death threats. I can imagine because I had 2 platforms on YouTube that was taken down, so I can imagine that's why I stopped and I'm rebuilding this. Because and half of it was my own because of self-hate. When it gets too real, we want to do that. But where are those for the white supremacists? Where are the feminists at that's supposed to be protecting the children and of black women? Or black women being protected. They're not interested in anything. So that multiculturalism have drowned us and let us be last in line at everything. We can sit here and celebrate people on TV, celebrities. All of those are smokescreen. And if you really know all that boule, all that Luciferian, homosexual stuff, all of that stuff is wicked as hell anyway. You finding out what's going on in Israel about cloning and harvesting organs and all of this stuff. Brothers going to maids, don't even know that's their homeland. Don't even know that's where they people originally from. But they assume it's Africa, and Africa's not even that landmass name. But because of self-hate and lack of knowledge of trousseau, the white man on table right now laughing about how they're going to divisive. Especially in Chicago, Texas, California, Detroit, it don't even make a difference. It don't make a difference where me and you at. And then it's even worse if you around and there's a less percentage of you around there. And a lot of us so scared and so full of self-hate among ourselves, you get closer to them and you just got to tolerate the racial humiliation, the racial biases and bigotry. And you assume because you adopt that mindset of talk or act, you think that means something to you. And some of you so far gone, you don't want to change because of self-hate. When you are dealing with people who hate your guts, what can you say? And that's what Johnson have to deal with. And that's what Phil from the Vice show was saying. That's what I'm saying. Let's put away the nonsense, man. When are we going to really build for real, for real? I mean really for real. And stop the nonsense. Because while we're so busy chasing our tail, talking about this, that, and the third, we can't do this, and we all on white supremacist station. We know that. The Bible told us we're going to go to our enemies for everything. If you read the Bible, Deuteronomy, it tells us that. Because that's a sign of us, who we are. But because people so assuming it's a white man's book and never read it in the first beginning, you wouldn't know that. And that's what people need to understand. These demons are not playing with us, man. Especially in Chicago where I live. They're not playing with us, man. They got so many layers to keep us confused and distracted, and that's just really what it is with black folks. We're distracted more than anything. We're indulged in the wrong things. Everybody getting ready for Christmas and don't even know what it is, don't even care, just do it. Oh, it's for the children. It's for the children. Oh, you know the high holy days, you got a whole month. This whole month, you know what I mean, less than one day. But because you don't know what these things are, oh, Merry Christmas. No one's talking about a job where you got to conform to all of these different things. We're not saying that. What we're saying is having true knowledge of self. Not all this African, Pan-African stuff, all of this original stuff, even this Spoby Israelite stuff. And that is the truth. But if you're not doing it in unity, where you're trying to bridge the gap between, let's band together, that way guys from Nation of Islam, Hebrew Israelite, Christian, atheist, whatever, can build on money, can build on solidarity with that. We deal with other nations with it that we don't know. We can't build among ourselves. You think the white supremacists don't build one another? The lefty, the righties, yes they do. When they get through with all that spewing, especially when they thought Barack Obama was our brother, which he's not. He's Kenyan. We're not Kenyan. We're not African. He comes from Ham. We're Shemites. So when you don't know who you are, you say things out of turns, and that's why your real leaders got